Thanks for being patient while we got everything set up. So what we're going to be starting off with today is just kind of sort of reviewing some of the stuff that we talked about on Wednesday's class, particularly regarding the white key intervals, ear training-wise, everything based on do. So, which, as we recall, is these intervals in red. So do to re, do to mi, do to fa, do to sol, do to la, do to ti, and do to do. So all of the solfege syllables we like, right? What I have up here on the board this time is if you go down from do and back up, which means that the intervals are inverted, right? So the exercise becomes and that's why we have different intervals in red over here, right? So notice we have a minor second that's part of the major scale, and a minor third, and a major sixth, sorry, a minor sixth, minor seventh. So why is that? Does anybody remember? Remember, inversion is the critical term here. It's the key thing to think about. What happens when I invert a major interval? It becomes minor, right? So my major second here, do re, if I'm going up, is going to, when I invert it, go down instead. So do to re is going to become a minor seventh. Major second, invert, minor seventh. Our perfect intervals, when you invert a perfect interval, it stays perfect. So we're going to start by slightly reviewing one of the exercises that we did just to kind of sort of get warmed up. Getting your solfege on. You remember, this is do from last class, right? Did you guys hold on to it the entire 2 days? I wouldn't have either. So we're just going to go do, re, do, mi, do, etc. So, and I'll keep a do just running underneath. 1, 2, ready, and. All you have to do is look at the syllables in red for now. We're going to add the syllables in green a little bit, and here in a little bit. 1, 2, ready, and.
Do,
tritone. So, ironically, one of the harder intervals to sing, and you guys were just like, bam, here it is. So, let's try that again. And I'll play along this time. Okay? So, 1, 2, ready, and. So, now what we're going to do is we're going to attach the name of the interval to the exercise. So, do, re, do, major second, do, mi, do, major third, do, fa, do, perfect fourth, do, sol, do, perfect fifth, do, la, do, minor sixth, do, mi, do, major seventh, do, octave. I may have accidentally said minor sixth here. So, yeah. See, even teachers make mistakes. Thank goodness, right? So, and then going down, do, ti, do, minor second, do, la, do, minor third, do, sol, do, perfect fourth, do, fa, do, perfect fifth, do, mi, do, minor sixth, do, re, do, minor seventh, do, octave. So, we're not going to do it that fast. We'll take it slow. Okay. We'll take it about that pace. I'll help us get started, and then we'll go from there. I'll drop out at some point. Just keep plowing away. I have full confidence in you. 1, 2, ready, and. Do, re, do, major second, do, mi, do, major third, do, fa, do, perfect fourth, do, sol, do, perfect fifth, do, la, do, major sixth, do, ti, do, major seventh, do, octave. Back down to ready, and. Do, ti, do, minor second, do, minor seventh, do, minor third, do, sol, do, perfect fourth, do, fa, do, perfect fifth, do, mi, do, minor sixth, do, re, do, minor seventh, do, octave. Yeah, not bad, right? So, a little bit of a brain teaser, especially when we get to the descending intervals, right? But doing this sort of warm-up exercise can help us start to hear the intervals as well as feel like we can actually sing them. So, for example, if I go, sorry, not that. Alexis, do you think you know? Close. Here's some major sixths. Okay, so the interval that I started with is that larger or smaller than a major sixth?
Smaller.
Smaller. Go ahead, Diana.
Sorry, perfect fit.
Perfect fit. Yeah. A little bit smaller than. A little bit smaller, but they're both consonant intervals. Now, when you have a slightly larger interval, particularly anything bigger than a fifth going up to an octave, one of the things that can help is to sing through the major scale in your head. this enough times, then you can have it kind of sort of ingrained in your head, do to sol, perfect fifth. Versus sol going up to do, which is a perfect fourth. Here comes the bride, perfect fourth. So, also sol, do, do. That's the solfege of the line. Our timed quiz, which is not so much timed as much as it is an Aural Skills quiz, is going to be played at intervals, just the red ones here, and just the red ones on this side. Do always the same. There will be 7 of them. It will be all of these in any given order. So that is all you have to worry about. I believe that there is an exercise on musictheory.net where you can actually practice all this stuff. So I will look there and I will put the exact link to the exercise on Blackboard for you guys so that you have it at your disposal. So let's up the stakes a little bit. Because we got all of these chromatic ones too. So these are not all of the chromatic solfege syllables. Going up, if you're just running up a chromatic scale, it's typically things like do, di, re, mi, fa, fi, sol, si, la, li, ti, do. So all of these things that end in E, because they're all going up to, they're all going up to the next note. So a whole bunch of sharps and that sort of thing. But that creates a lot of augmented intervals that don't really apply here. That's not the sort of thing that we hear when we hear these intervals in context. So the solfege syllables we encounter much more when we're actually thinking about ear training are going to be these guys. Things like ra, fi we keep around, lay, te, and me, which come from the minor scale, correct? So the exercise is now going to come down to you hear how it's slowly sneaking up. A little bit tricky, right? We're not really used to singing chromatic scales. Let's go ahead and give this a shot. And I'll play the intervals on the piano. And let's add the interval names as well. So, do, ra, do, minor second, do, re, do, major second, do, me, do, minor third, etc. So, and when you get to tritone, and when you get to octave, you can just say do, fi, do, tritone, instead of thinking that's an augmented fourth or that's a diminished fifth, sort of thing. Tritone is special. So, you guys ready to give this a shot? Yes. All right, everyone, gird your loins. 1, 2, ready, and.
Do,
all right. If you crash and burn at any point, that is perfectly okay. This is new material for a lot of you guys. So the important thing is that when you crash and burn, chuckle at it for a moment, and then hop right back in on the next one. And after a few more times, and you guys will have some of this stuff that you can practice this on your own as well. So that practice makes perfect. You'll feel a lot better when we focus on this at any later given day. These will sneak into class every once in a while, just so we can keep our oral skills refreshed. And going forward from there. 1, 2, ready, and. Let's start that again. It's not a major second. Minor second. 1, 2, ready, and. Once you started to get a little bit of the ropes in it, you started feeling a little bit more, I can jump to the next one. Okay? A few more of you. So there's definitely a level of thought that comes with having to do these descending. And there's also a level of thought where we're adjusting to singing these larger intervals. Do, ra, do. And there's also a level of thought of, okay, so I'm singing this solfege syllable, and then I'm singing this name of this interval with this, and maybe I don't have these connected, and it's not. We have a lot of different parts of our brain working all at once, right? I'm about to up the stakes a bit. Same exercise. You have no visual reference at this point. Remember, if you make mistakes, that's okay. To kind of sort of help us out a little bit, so that I don't have to keep playing this on the piano, I have put together a background track, and this is updated on Blackboard, that you can sing along with. And fair warning, this is delightfully old school 80s new age synth sort of thing. So very meditative, so that you can feel somewhat relaxed while you're torturing yourself with these singing exercises. So I also put the sheet music up for these so that you can use that as visual reference as well. However, this can become more beneficial if you don't use the sheet music as a crutch, right? Because if you're just reading through it, then sometimes there are studies that show that if you read something aloud while you're actually reading it on the page, it doesn't digest in your head as well, which is one of those reasons why when the teacher just reads nothing but the PowerPoint slides, slides, it gets super frustrating. So don't let that happen while you're just reading music. So once you feel like you can do the exercise without looking at the sheet music, it'll become a little bit easier. So, you guys ready to hear the 80s background track? I'm ready. Yes. Do, ra, do, minor, second. Go ahead and join in. Re, do, major, second, do, re, do, minor, third, do, mi, do, major, third, do, fa, do, perfect fourth, do, si, do, tritone, do, sol, do, perfect fifth, do, la, do, leg minor sixth, do, la, do, major sixth, do, re, do, minor seventh, do, si, do, major seventh, do, octave. Let's go back down, shall we? Do, si, do, minor second, do, si, do, major second, do, la, do, minor third, do, re, do, major third, do, sol, do, perfect fourth, do, si, do, tritone, do, fa, do, perfect fifth, do, si, do, minor sixth, do, re, do, major second, do, re, do, minor seventh, do, la, do, octave, do, See, once again, even your teacher makes mistakes. I sang octave a little bit prematurely.
I was like,
Yeah. Do, do, ra, do, major seven. So, what's really fun for the more singer types is when you try to do compound intervals as well. Do, ra, do, minor ninth. So, I am not expecting anybody to do that. Absolutely not. That could be something you do on your own time. And feel free to not tell me about it. Let's not say you didn't, right? Right. You ready to add the next twist to this? There's more. But wait, there's more. What if I were to think of these not as starting on do?
oh shoot.
What if I were to think of these as starting on sol?
Okay.
So we're going to do the exact same exercise, starting from the exact same notes. But this isn't do anymore. Here's our new key. Here's our new do. Our first new do in days. Do, ti, la, sol. Now, the solfege we sing is going to For which everybody says, hooray! The solfege syllables, for the sake of this intervals exercise, are the same going up as they are going down. Very much like this. If you were to think of this as doing this and then back up, same sort of principle. So it'll be sol, le, sol, la, sol, ti, sol, te, then sol, ti, then sol, do, then sol, d. You could just as easily, for the sake of this exercise, sing sol, ra. Whichever one you choose is completely up to you. The reason I write D is because it's more common with some more advanced harmony. Then sol, what comes next? Re. Re. Then sol, me. Then sol, mi. Sol, mi, do, and B, C. Major 6. So you hear how there are some more things song-wise that are starting to come to the ear that we can use kind of sort of as our crutch to remember certain intervals. Sol, mi, then what comes next? Fa. Sol, fi, fi. And then that'll bring us back to sol.
So
Like,
why are
that's not how it goes.
So why are we starting sol again?
Because you could just as easily start on mi or fa. The reason why I'm hoping to introduce some of this is because when you're listening to certain intervals in a context, one of those intervals is not always do, or one of the notes in the interval is not always do. There are lots of times where you'll have an interval between something starting on fa, going to something like le, or things like that. In fact, your most common tritone is not do to fi, or sol to ra, or sol to d. Your most common tritone, does anybody want to take a guess?
Fa to T.
Fa to T. Why?
Because that uses diatonic notes, like notes in the major scale.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Our dominant seventh chord, that tritone in it, has the notes T and Fa. So, if I were to have you guys sing, just do, for right now with this, sol to fa to T to do. Here's sol. Fortunately, singing the tritone feels a little bit easier than just picking it out of thin air, unless we really have Re in our heads with that. So, Fa, Re, Fa, Ti, or Fa, Sol, Do. So let's try the same exercise. Sol, Le, Sol, minor second, Sol, La, Sol, major second, etc. If we trip on this, it'll be okay. We have a different background track. You're singing the exact same notes you were singing before. The exact same intervals, but the solfege syllables are different. Yes?
When is the interval good?
Monday. Yes. Yeah, but that's only on the white key. White key intervals. So your syllables, your intervals from the major scale. So do, re, do, mi, do, fa, do, sol, do, la, do, ti, do, do. So only on those. And again, you can practice on musictheory.net.
Will it be C major?
I will play it all in C major.
Okay.
So here's the next background track. So remember, you're singing the exact same thing, but the harmonies underneath are going to be different because we're in a different key. We're in this key now.